This talk is Fear is Expensive, or Why You Can't Afford Fear. There's plenty of fear going on nowadays, isn't there? Fear about health and the economy and all the changes that we're going through. In fact, I was reading that 37% of all households in the U.S. have contained someone who lost wages or had a change in their wages. And 10% of all households sometimes don't have enough food. Sometimes the breadwinner has passed away or is paralyzed by depression. So all of these things could generate fear. But this is also a time to realize or make a choice and say, am I going to be defeated by this, or am I going to rise up with this? Am I going to see a dead end, or am I going to use my creativity to create an open door? Am I going to be defeated, or am I going to let this strengthen me? Am I going to look down the dirt and lay in it, or am I going to look up at the sky and fly? Am I going to be afraid of change, or am I going to remember that change always brings a good change for me ultimately? So those are not easy things to remember or to trust. What's the worst that could happen to you? For me, financially, it was bankruptcy a while back. I had always liked to be responsible financially, and I thought that I was, but as a real estate investor, I was caught in that real estate crash that happened a while back. And I had some properties that had a lot of vandalism and a lot of vacancies. It ate up all my resources, and they became worth 1/3 what I paid for them, or what I still owed on them. So after about 2 years of struggle and sleeplessness, because the worst part was that I didn't want my family farm to get pulled into all of this mess. So after this time, after a couple of years of a lot of stress and worry about this, I heard this message inside that said, "Let me steer." I said, okay, because I really don't have a choice. I had to trust. It got me in a position where I had to trust. It ended up, I found the most perfect and kind and smart attorney who managed everything, and it came out beautifully. But the lesson, I think that the reason I went through that was so that I could learn to trust and to overcome that fear. Remember, every story has a happy ending. If it doesn't, it's not done yet. Don't you love that? When the pandemic started, I was watching a lot of the news because I thought I should stay up on everything. But then I started finding myself getting pulled into a depression with all that sensationalism, because that's how news get their ratings, right? But I was finding that I was kind of depressed and less productive in my work. I was getting about half as much work done as I thought I'd have all the time to do. And so I realized, man, I better cut the news back to about 5 minutes a day. I better surround myself with positive people. And it was springtime. I started growing things. I grew flowers and vegetables and gave those away. I did workshops for people about how to work from home. I did a lot of FaceTime with my granddaughter. And I called up senior citizens who were stuck in their homes. So I turned that around to service. And that has been a trick that's gotten me out of a lot of negative places, feeling poor me or victim or fear or anything like that, is turning around to service and giving to another person, because that makes it not about me. When I was a teenager, I read in 17 magazine one time, and it said, if you're at a dance and you're talking to a boy and you feel shy, ask him some questions about him, because that takes the attention off yourself and you won't be in that painful, shy place. So giving service has helped me to do what I do. I focus on the benefits of people. When they come back and say, wow, I had a breakthrough, or my life is completely different now, that keeps me going to give more service and keep the attention off myself. Remember that behind every fear is the person that you want to be. Now, you don't have to get rid of fear to go ahead and do something you want to do in your life. I have shook with fear and still move forward with action. Anyway, I figure If I want to do something but I'm scared to do it, if I go ahead and do it, what have I got to lose but my fear? And if I don't do that thing, what have I got to lose? Everything else. In summary, with this talk about fear, I gave tips about trust and about service. I hope that you received even one inspiration here that you can use to overcome fear.